about wrestling. Yeah.
Uh, First of all, I actually love the Undisputed Era's music. You know?
I do too. I'm a big fan.
It's just it's I don't know what the word is really. Um, I don't know. It's like DX, but it's ridiculous at the same time.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's one of those entrance themes though that really fit the group.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it because it's kind of for lack of a better word, douchey.
Yes. Okay, maybe that's the word I was looking for.
I mean, it really is. It's very douchey. It's and that guy, and then especially with Adam Cole, standing on the rope, and he does that thumb point, and he's like,
Boom.
boom,
Yeah.
it's terrible, but it's awesome.
When he did that the first time, I was like, "Oh, dude, what a way to!" It's subtle, but it's good. I love it.
It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's so good.
And he waits. He waits for that moment, so that way nothing like that's happening when he does the Adam Cole baby thing. So
Exactly. It's so douchey, but it's so good. It's awesome. I love it.
actually, I listened to an episode of Sam Roberts' podcast, and I'm not surprised listening to him out of character. He's like one of the nicest guys to listen to, as well as
Right.
he's so self-deprecating and so critical of himself. And I'm thinking, geez, man, you do realize how good you are, right?
Yeah, I mean he's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to his match with Aleister Black
It's
at
gonna be good.
Takeover.
They had such a good match on NXT TV that this one, I
Right.
think it's Extreme Rules match. It's only gonna get
Yes,
better.
it is an Extreme Rules match. I
But
know.
I,
It's
I yeah, it's gonna be good. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. So anyway, welcome back everyone to this
welcome.
long delayed episode of Appenroid Talks About Wrestling. I'm your host. I'm Rue, as always, and with me as always is my best friend.
Oh, this is Archie, and every single time I say this, I always say I'm excited. But I mean, I love podcasting, so this is fantastic.
Well, I'm not excited. I'm quite mundane about this whole thing. So I'm just gonna just play devil's advocate on this one.
Whatever.
So anyone who actually listens, if we actually have any listeners, we've been extraordinarily busy. In the past 4 months, I've had 3 jobs, uh, and it's kind of weird, just how this all happened. I am now permanently with the job that I wanted, but that has taken up a lot of my holiday schedule. Been busy with work, starting a job, ending a job, clearing out everything, and just not ever having time to podcast with Archie since he's all the way in the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast. On the other hand, I know Archie's been busy because he's got a brand new baby.
Yeah, yeah. This is man, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, man. It's being a parent or a father is awesome, and it's one of those things where it takes literally takes up all of your time, no matter what, and because it's funny, it's like even like when I'm not busy with her, like even if she's taking a nap or doing something like you literally use that time to try to catch up on other things.
Mm-hmm.
And so either that or you literally try to nap yourself because let's face it, trying to sleep with a baby is it doesn't really work out very well for those of you who are also parents and have gone through the same thing.
Yep.
So it's definitely always busy and you're always doing something. And so literally, I was able to start streaming again there for a few weeks, and then you get busy again, and then your baby's cycles, they change. And so then it literally leaves you, you have to adapt, and you literally have no time, again for anything. So hopefully, and then I switched man cave rooms, which kind of put halt on the streaming because an update in my life is my mom and my stepdad actually came down here from Michigan to live with us and to actually help us with the baby, and so we ended up giving them the room that my man cave was in. And so I had everything all set up in there already. So then I had to switch rooms and move everything to a different room. And so I'm still kind of in the process of setting things up in here again in order for us to start another streaming schedule. So that has been kind of like the gap in streaming for the past few weeks that you guys have probably noticed. It's like, hey, where's Archie? They started streaming again, and all of a sudden they stopped. That is the biggest reason is I've had to kind of literally switch everything and move all of my equipment into another room, and I'm still currently trying to reset up everything. So the streaming will happen again. I just got to get everything back to where I need it to be. So stay tuned on that. That will be happening again.
Is the man cave the back room now, though, with the sewing room?
No, the man cave is actually in the room that you guys slept in.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's actually in what we call the dark room
Hmm.
because there are no windows or anything. So it's back in here. So we are trying to reset up everything in here, and the room is a little bit smaller
Hmm.
than my other room that I was in. So trying to fit everything in and set everything up the way I need it to be is proving to be a small challenge, but that challenge has been accepted, and we're making it work. We're making it work.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned switching rooms. My wife and I, we actually just acquired a lot of furniture. We went on a shopping spree this past weekend for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and because we got this new furniture, we actually swapped the room. So the computer desk and shelves and everything like that, and the entertainment center on the
Hmm.
complete opposite wall, and the couch is on the other side of the wall. And the old entertainment center is now like our kitchen prep station. So it's absolutely crazy that you're mentioning you're moving stuff around and we're moving stuff around, and we still haven't organized everything yet. So it's like we're going through this whole like moving around situation, both of us at the same
Oh
time.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
trust me.
I
Yeah.
don't have the luxury of like, oh yeah, well I have a house that I'm moving around like you, but still.
Hey, you know what? I mean, you've been here, so you've seen the house,
Mm,
and a lot of it is it's bigger than what it looks like from the outside, but but still a lot of it is like narrow corridors.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's and now having my mom and stepdad stuff here, like we're trying to find room for their stuff as well, and
Mm.
so it's like, oh my lord, we're trying to fit two families worth of stuff in here, and it's proving to be a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. We're making it work, and we're finally starting to get things to where we want them to be. So hopefully soon everything will be where we need it.
Do you do you kind of wish that you kept the second storage spot that I helped you clean out when I was down there?
Um, I mean, yes and no. I mean, it was obviously a lot bigger of a storage unit that we had before,
Hmm.
but honestly, what we're trying to do is we're ultimately trying to get that back room sorted out,
Mm.
so a lot of stuff can be stored back there. So that should be s- happening soon. Next few weeks, we're gonna clean all that area out
Mm.
and whatnot. So
Yeah, there is a lot of
so
room
it'll
back
be,
there. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of room back there. There's a lot of room, but like right now, there's no room. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, that is what's happening in our lives right now. So, we've spent the better part of 10 minutes talking about that.
No, we
So,
spent like 4 minutes talking about Adam Cole
was
and
it
the other
4 minutes?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
well, okay.
so
Well,
just wanted to give everyone a chance to actually, understand whoever's listening, to understand, we do have busy lives and the time difference is also a big, issue for us and everything. So
yeah.
Well, we do what we can, but we're definitely making it in time for some big events. We missed a podcast around Survivor Series, but we're not going to miss it for the Royal Rumble. But the first on my agenda that I've written down, did you watch New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 12?
I did not see. I missed the Kingdom 12, and that was the one where Chris Jericho went and
Yeah,
wrestled at, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I watched
I
it.
missed it.
Um, yeah, the Alpha Omega versus Omega, Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega match. It was the least, I don't know, the least New Japan match that Kenny Omega has wrestled in the past couple years.
Yeah,
Um, Chris Jericho really brought it. It was actually, I was kind of concerned considering the pace that Kenny can go, the kind of things that he's been doing, the kind of things he can do, versus Chris Jericho now as opposed to 2004 and earlier, before he started really getting some limitations physically. I was kind of concerned how are they going to mesh, and they actually did a really good job with some serious spots, and uh, I don't know. It was really, really good. I would give it a 5-star rating if I actually had a credible record of rating matches. But I would give it 5 stars based on storytelling and what they did in the ring with each other. Jericho really fit in well in the New Japan area. He was so good playing the heel. At one point, he stole one of the photographer's cameras, started taking pictures of Kenny, and then taking pictures of the audience while flipping them off. So he had his middle finger with the audience there. And I don't. Last I heard, he hasn't found those photos. He doesn't know what happened to those photos. But like he was playing to the audience, playing to Kenny Omega, and everything like that. He did a good job, and there were some spots that were very familiar that he did with Shawn Michaels, and I thought it was a really smart idea because if you want to wrestle a match with a guy like that, take from what you did with Shawn Michaels,
right.
and you're good. Like one spot in particular, he had Kenny in the Walls of Jericho, and Kenny kind of like scrambled and went under the ropes, and it was since it was no DQ, a rope break wouldn't break the hold, so he kind of like got this cold spray, and it's from a gimmick that Kenny did when he was the cleaner, and he got this cold spray and sprayed Jericho in the eyes with it, while he had the Walls of Jericho on him. And I remembered that spot because Shawn Michaels did it with a fire extinguisher back in 2008 when they had their feud. So I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I remember that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. It was really nice to see stuff like that. And yeah, that was a really good match. The main event, well, the co-main event was Okada versus Naito, and that kind of shocked me because I have been watching a little bit of New Japan for the past couple of years, and it seemed like they were kind of building Naito to be like the anti-hero, kind of like a almost
Right.
like a Stone Cold kind of a thing, and Okada's kind of
Okay.
like playing the almost like the Rock role. Almost, he's kind of like the corporate hero kind of a thing. He's the boss's favorite wrestler and everything. And it seemed like everything they had been building was going to be Naito beating Okada for the title, and they kept it on Okada. And I was kind of shocked
Oh,
by
weird.
that. It was weird. It was really weird, but it still was a good match. And it kind of made me wonder, well, like, what do you do with Naito? He just won the G1 Climax, which gave him the opportunity to win to face Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, and then you don't have him win the title. It's like all the momentum is gone, but now he's going to enter a program with Jericho. I'm like, oh, okay, then he's good. You know,
Yeah.
he
I
can
mean,
do this
yeah.
feud and then go back to Okada later. Um, and then the other match on there, I don't know if you remember the Cruiserweight Classic, Kota Ibushi.
Oh yeah, I remember Ibushi. He was fantastic.
He's a fantastic wrestler. He had a match against Cody. Don't call him Rhodes because he can't use the last name. Cody Rhodes came out with a cape and a hood, and then he takes off the hood, and he's got bleach blonde hair.
Weird.
I know, it was so weird. And Brandy's with him, doing the entrance with him and everything. It was just, it was like, okay, I guess you're gonna do that. And they had a really, really good match. And Wrestle Kingdom was overall a good show, not a bad match at all on the card. But I think what I want to say really about it is that I watched a lot of Japanese wrestling, in the
Yeah.
'90s because of My two favorite wrestlers from Japan have always been Great Muta and Masahiro Chono. And
Mm-hmm.
because of them, I started watching some Japan as much as I could on YouTube or on tapes and everything like that. And to me, gone are the days where Japanese wrestling, especially a show like Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome, gone are the days are the best wrestlers from around the world coming in to wrestle in a big show like that. It's now become half Japanese best wrestlers and half like Ring of Honor
Right.
guys who can't get signed by a bigger company and just making the best of what they can or what they are able to do. Because when
Exactly.
you look at the Wrestle Kingdom card, you've got stars like, Tanahashi, Okada, Naito, Ibushi, but then you've got guys like Kenny Omega, Cody, the Young Bucks, Will Ospreay, and I'm thinking this is half Ring of Honor. This is this
Oh
is
yeah.
this is not full Japan, and I'm not saying full Japanese wrestler or full Japanese promotion has to be just Japanese wrestlers. I mean, Stan Hansen made a huge living back down there. Terry Funk made a lot of great appearances over there, as well as Bruiser Brody. But it's kind of like I don't know. It's like they were stars there. These are guys who are independent stars coming to Japan and not staying. You know,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
Cody the Young Bucks, they're going to go back to Ring of Honor. They're going to go back to other independent promotions, but they're not mainstays like Kenny Omega is. And it's just like I don't know. It makes me excited for the future. At the same time, I'm a little bit concerned about the future because once again, these are guys who are not signed with WWE or TNA or some other promotions, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know exactly how to feel about New Japan at this point, especially for the biggest show.
Yeah. I mean that's understandable. I mean, like you said, you've got these Ring of Honor guys that are going to like New Japan just for like these almost like one-offs,
Mm-hmm.
or a couple matches. And like you said, they're people that aren't signed to big promotions, and you said they're making the best of the opportunity that they're given to wrestle on these big shows. And you never know. I mean, having them on these big shows like that, you never know. They could get noticed enough to be signed to a bigger promotion. And I don't blame them for wanting to, wrestle these one-offs or two-offs on these big, shows on the bigger promotions, because you never know what might happen. Someone might say, you know what, these guys have got something, and why don't we try to bring him in for a longer stay and see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from, though.
And my next point is going to totally contradict what I said, but at the same time, it's
What?
I know, right? But there are guys like Okada, Omega, Naito. These guys are amazing. Tanahashi's great. Michael Elgin's great. I hope that they stay in New Japan, and for the very fact that after seeing how WWE has worked with Anderson Gallows, Finn Balor, to a certain degree, Nakamura, Kenta, who's now Hideo Itami. All these guys they brought from Japan, who may have been named for themselves in Japan, and the way they've handled them, or mishandled them, if you will, I kind of hope they stay
Yeah.
in New Japan because the track record for a big promotion like WWE is not strong. You know,
No.
like the exception to the rule is AJ Styles, but at the same time, he only had a 2 to 3 year stint in New Japan, while most of his career is in the United States.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like you said, the track record for WWE handling some of these guys has not been that great. Um, Aside from some of their stints in NXT, like Finn Balor
Hmm.
had a great run in NXT.
Yes.
The way he debuted on on the main roster was lackluster. I
Hmm.
mean, his debut was not even a real surprise. It was just like, oh, hey, he's standing on the ramp with a bunch of other wrestlers right now. I mean, that's. Um, I thought that they could have handled his debut on the main roster a lot better. And aside from, I mean, he had a lot of momentum going in. I mean, he won the Universal Championship, and then obviously injuries happen, and that halts that. The worst thing that can happen to a wrestler's momentum is an injury that's going to keep them out for a while.
Yeah.
And it's like when he came back, it's like, okay, they've moved on and they have other storylines, so they really didn't have anywhere to put him. I mean, that's no fault, I don't think, of WWE's or obviously no fault of Finn Balor's because, injuries happen. But, I mean, you're right. You've got Anderson and Gallows who came in and really didn't make an impact at all. And being part of the Bullet Club in New Japan, which is huge. And then they came in, and just now, they reforming, the Balor Club now with those three.
Yeah.
Is fantastic, and I'm glad that they did that. And it's giving them something to do. It's giving them familiarity and something that they know. And I think this is going to be a big year for all three of them. I'm hoping anyway, because I really hope that they run with this, because they need to. They really do.
Yes.
They really need to give those three the time, and the fact that, I mean, I don't know I can't remember where I read this from. It's probably one of the wrestling dirt sheets or whatever. You can only believe like 50%, maybe, even if that, of what is reported. But the fact that Vince didn't see Finn as connecting with the audience or something. It was something along those lines where he didn't think that Finn was over.
Yeah.
With the audience. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, have you seen, the way he comes out and the way the audience, does his movements and his entrance with him, and I said, so that I didn't understand. I was like, I don't know what he's looking at and what the rest of the world is looking at, but you've got someone, I mean, everybody knows, and I'm a huge Finn Balor mark. I think he's, aside from AJ Styles, I think he's one of the best in the world. And just to see kind of how they have used him since he's returned from injury I've been kind of, like, what are they doing? What are they doing with this guy? And I understand that wrestling is, the business can be, like a slow burn. You just patience. Just be patient, and you got to wait for things and everything. But I feel like since he's been back, they've kind of misused him, and like you said, and along with Anderson and Gallows, and especially, oh my lord, don't get me started on Kenta or Hideo Itami. Because, I mean, obviously injuries have hindered him as well.
Yes.
He's had a few injuries in NXT, and which has halted his progress. But I think putting him on 205 Live is a mistake.
I think so too.
It's a mistake. He doesn't belong there. He can be a star. But putting him on 205 Live is, not for him. It's not. I don't think it's the answer for him. But I mean, I don't know. I just I'm kind of wondering what they're thinking about that. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was funny because they brought him into the main roster. Didn't he save Finn Balor from a beatdown or something like that?
He did. He saved Finn Balor from a beatdown, and then it caused an impromptu. Didn't it cause like an impromptu tag match or something as well?
I think so. Against the Miztourage, right?
Yeah, I think it was against the Miztourage.
And then they completely dropped it. Now he's on 205 Live. No story.
They dropped it in no story, and then it was just like, okay, so yeah, he comes out and saves Finn on the main roster. Then, oh wait, and they even said, I think during the save when he came out, was he's not supposed to debut until 205 Live tomorrow night or something, or whatever it was. They, like, the announcers even mentioned that, and I was just like, why is he on 205 Live? Why is he being put on there? That doesn't make any sense. And I understand they're trying to get 205 Live. They're trying to get bigger stars on that brand. But they've got so many other, cruiserweights that I don't believe they're really doing anything with that they should. I mean, they've got some great talent in the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're just focusing on like maybe two or three of them at a time, and it's like, oh, come on now. I mean, you got so many talented people on that in that division, and they're kind of just focusing on a couple at a time. And I don't know. I, I was excited for the cruiserweight division when they first announced it,
Hmm.
and then I was just like, well, as long as they need to do it right. Um, yeah, and I feel like the cruiserweight division is just floundering. It's I just feel like it's just there, and it's filler is what I feel like it is, and everything. So I don't know, but now I'm just kind of going off on a tangent. So let's bring it back in.
No, no, I totally get what you're saying because they have a show devoted to the cruiserweights, and yet
Yep.
they're still focusing on like Enzo More and whoever he's going to face that day. Like Cedric
Right.
Alexander is going to get a match at Royal Rumble, and they've been building up Cedric, and I'm thinking, well, it's about time they build somebody else up. But then you have a champion still, or a former champion in TJP that you haven't done anything with. You know,
Yeah.
like where is he? He should be getting some eyes on him. His brand needs
Exactly.
to be built.
Yep.
And I don't
And
know.
and and here's the thing about the cruiserweight division. Back when they had the cruiserweight classic, you saw all these different styles. You
Hmm.
saw what these cruiserweights are able to do in the ring. You were able to see what makes them so special.
Hmm.
And then I feel like once they launched the division, it's almost you're getting a watered down version of what they can do. And I don't feel like they're given that same avenue to showcase what they've got that they did when they were in the Cruiserweight Classic. And
Well,
I don't know.
here's the thing. Also, there's a lot of guys in the Cruiserweight Classic they didn't sign. You know?
I mean, I know. I mean, and I understand that, and I completely get that. Um, but there's still just things that you don't see anymore.
Right. I-
That you saw in the classic, and I was just like, man, I was like, that's what makes cruiserweights so exciting to watch is all their high flying and all their, you know,
Their
things that they
technical
can
ability.
do. Yeah, their technical ability, everything that they can do, and it's just like, and I feel like almost all matches are the same.
Well,
I feel
well,
like
yeah.
you get the same formula.
Well, yeah. I mean, geez. I mean, you look at you look at the Cruiserweight Classic. You look at the matches that were really awesome to watch. And but like the guys that really made an impact, they're not signed. Like Kota Ibushi, he was great. He was great in the Cruiserweight Classic, but he's with New
Oh yeah,
Japan. Or Zack Sabre Jr. His style was so unique and was incredible, but he wasn't signed. You got those guys just made a huge like Johnny Gargano went back to NXT. He didn't go,
yeah,
because he and Tommaso Ciampa are still a tag team. Tommaso Ciampa's injured. Johnny Gargano went back to NXT. So like a lot of the people that made an impact on the Cruiserweight Classic, they didn't keep, which is why it's weird because all the guys that they kept are really keeping a watered down style of what the Cruiserweight Classic is. I wonder
exactly.
if it's exactly what they were looking for. Like, oh, you did a great job, but we're going to bring it back down to like zero or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like Tajiri was there, and they didn't keep him. and for
yeah,
and for a great veteran and a recognized name, that would have been a shoe in to be like, yeah, let's keep you on. But no, they didn't keep him.
yep,
He went back to All Japan. It's like what?
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously, I knew that like they weren't gonna sign every single one of those cruiserweights and everything. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and the people that they did sign. I mean, I thought that they signed some great people. I mean, I loved Grand Metalik. I thought
Hmm.
he was fantastic, and he's on 205 Live doing what?
Yeah. Or Tozawa. I
Nothing.
love Tozawa.
Yeah,
Former
Tozawa's
cruiserweight,
fantastic.
former
Yeah,
cruiserweight champion. What's he doing?
yeah, Tozawa's fantastic. He's not doing anything. There was who's the other? There was another luchador that I thought that they had signed, or he was in the Cruiserweight Classic that I absolutely loved. and I don't think that they signed him,
Oh, jeez,
or they
man.
may have. I can't remember his name. I really liked him though. I liked him enough to not remember his name.
Was it Mendoza?
No, because
No.
he's in NXT.
Oh, he's in NXT. Okay.
Yeah, Mendoza's in NXT now. I really like him because he just had a match this past week on NXT as well, and yeah, I thought that he was fantastic.
Goes to show how much
Um,
I'm paying attention to NXT these days.
right. I mean, and you really should because NXT's they're really, and the thing that I love about NXT is they really know how to build their characters and give them time to really connect, whether it's connect with the audience in a good way or a bad way,
Hmm.
and everything. I mean, look at I'm gonna go off on a small another little tangent here now
No,
that
that's
we're
fine.
talking about NXT.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Takeover's coming up
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. I
and
was gonna.
so
That
we
was
can
actually my
talk.
next point, so it's perfect.
Yep. So we can talk about NXT. Velveteen Dream.
Oh my gosh.
What what an amazing character. I mean, seriously, what a fantastic character is Velveteen Dream. There's like when he is like this generation's Gold Dust,
Yes.
and he is just he knows who he is and he knows what the character is supposed to be.
Hmm.
And I feel like the character is almost an extension of himself. That's how believable it
Hmm.
is because I feel that it's just kind of an extension of his personality. And those are, for me, where the best characters come from, or when there's some truth to it. And but he's phenomenal. I mean, he's got great charisma, and he's a fantastic wrestler.
Hmm.
I mean, he like his match with Aleister Black at the last Takeover
Oh my
at the War
gosh.
Games was phenomenal.
Oh my god. That was like 15 minutes of like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what I was saying the entire time watching the match. I'm like, what a coming out party on the Takeover series for Velveteen Dream. And this is a
Yeah, it
guy
was.
who was on Tough Enough and got eliminated. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. The guy that was on Tough Enough and apparently wasn't tough enough to
He wasn't. He didn't. He wouldn't learn really. He had such an
yeah.
ego on the show, and so then from there to get to a match with Aleister Black and pretty much steal the show, with the exception of the War Games match.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and just to see him grow and to see his character grow, and then he had that little because I think that he was supposed to be in that tournament to um, to decide the number one contender for the NXT Championship, and then he got a little bit of an injury I think at an NXT house show,
Oh, jeez.
so he hasn't been on TV in a while, and he just came back. Um, and him and Johnny Gargano are gonna have a match next week, and Gargano is putting his spot on the line
Oh,
for Takeover. Yeah. So as of now, we're still getting Gargano in the NXT Championship match against Andrade Cien Almas, but you never know because next week he's facing the Velveteen Dream for that spot, which
ooh.
which I'm kind of a little bit torn about because I love Velveteen Dream.
Mm,
I love me some Velveteen Dream, but at the
mm,
same time, they have so much momentum going for Gargano,
yes.
and for everything that he has accomplished, and for everything that he has faced, and all the adversity, and him overcoming that adversity. I would hate to see them be like, okay, I would hate to see him lose that spot because of the story that they're telling with him right now. I think that it would completely halt all his momentum going forward if you give up that spot for him. Um,
Well, yeah,
that
I agree with you there. Now, just based on storyline, out of curiosity, do you want Johnny to win the championship?
Uh,
See, that's another side of it. One we want to see him in the title match, of course, because I'm in total agreement with you. However, Andrade is firing on all cylinders right now, and he's got a
yeah.
very similar story to Johnny, to be perfectly
Yep.
honest.
And they do, and that's the thing. And I love Andrade Cien Almas as the champion. I thought that he deserved it when he won it.
Hmm.
Um, and but there's this thing about Gargano, man,
Hmm.
where I'm just like, man, I really, it's almost like a Daniel Bryan from 3 or 4 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he's facing that adversity, and and people saying that he can't win the big one and he can't do it. And finally culminated at WrestleMania where he won the championship. And it's almost like a similar story. I mean, he's
Hmm.
not facing the authority or anything like that, or no one's trying to hold him down and everything. It's basically um, Gargano's fighting against himself, and other people believing that he can't do it or he can't um, get to the top of the mountain, so to speak. But it's tough, man, because I really want to see him win, but I don't want to see Andrade lose it yet,
Yeah,
because I feel like he deserves to hold that championship for a while longer.
I
So
agree.
it's a catch-22 right now, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy with one, also be disappointed with the other. Either way it
Exactly.
goes, and it's
Ex-
and I don't think Johnny needs it, to be perfectly honest, as much as Andrade needs, because Andrade kind of still needs to, like, because his character was going nowhere fast, just
yeah.
a year ago, and ever since he got with Zelina Vega, everything has been working so well for him. He still has that cocky attitude, but he's actually wrestling better. To be perfectly
Yeah, he
honest,
really
he is.
he really is. And she's given his character new life, for one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for two, like it's she adds so much to it. It's like he was already, a great heel,
Mm-hmm.
with that attitude and that arrogance. And then she comes along, and it's almost like it was a perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
It finally rounded out his character,
Yeah. Turned up to
and
11.
and exactly, and he is so much more interesting having her as his mouthpiece, and and I'm really excited to see how much more he can develop, his character and everything. And one of these days, I'd love to see him on the main roster as well, because I feel like he'd be a good addition to either Raw or SmackDown.
Man, jeez, I'd prefer him on SmackDown. You know.
Yeah, I mean, well, SmackDown is the better show right now, so
Well, not just that. It's just that Raw is so overpopulated that there are guys that are not getting TV because they have so many top stars on Raw. Just
right.
you go up and down the roster of Raw, you're like, okay, so who do we have? Okay, we have Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. Ready there, you have 2 hours worth of TV. You throw in
Yep.
you throw in a promo with Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. You got the Bar. You're like, what the frick? Does anyone have any time to do anything? And so when I saw
Right.
Kurt Hawkins had a match, I'm like, what? Kurt Hawkins has time for TV? While they're still building like Elias? Are you serious? So that's why I was like, let's put them on SmackDown. It's just
Yeah, I
they'll
mean,
have room. You know.
yeah, you have
Uh,
room and everything, but the thing with Raw is, and this is why I think that Raw is kind of, it's not a sinking ship. It's stagnant, compared to SmackDown. And my firm belief is you have a Universal Champion that's not there every week. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, you can only build up a championship match a couple weeks, out of, however many you really need to build up any sort of credible storyline for a title match.
Hmm.
And that's why you have that's why you have a triple threat at the Royal Rumble. I mean, because you've got Brock Lesnar's not there every week to help push this storyline, so you have to use Braun Strowman and Kane fighting each other however many weeks in a row to try to keep this storyline going.
Well,
Um,
well, okay. Here's the thing, though. With this past week, is that Kane and Brock were both injured because of what Braun did. So,
well, I mean, yeah, well, that makes sense. But you got to do stuff like that in order to keep the storyline going
I
because
know.
Braun's not going to be on TV. I mean, I mean,
Oh, like,
and that's the thing. You shouldn't have to do stuff like that. If you had a champion that was there every single week, you could do storylines that didn't involve, a grappling hook and pulling down, whatever it was, those steel, whatever those things were that he pulled down on him.
there's a
I
weird
mean,
scaffolding, like
the
frame
scaffolding, yeah,
thing.
something,
Yeah.
and then what? So then you injure two guys, and then what? And then Braun has to carry a storyline the next week on Raw by himself,
Yep.
by getting fired,
Yep. And then
for one,
rehired.
and then rehired within 20 minutes. I mean, it's like you got, but it's so you have to. He's carrying the storyline by himself by going on a rampage all of this past week.
Hmm.
Um,
That's how you tell the
but
story, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Braun does a fantastic job.
Hmm.
He does a fantastic job, and he is one of the reasons why he's literally the epitome of a character that organically gets over with the crowd. I mean, that's Braun Strowman. I mean, he didn't need anything fancy. He didn't need any extra, push, to to get over. It just happened. People just he was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
He's the kind of guy that Vince McMahon has been looking for a very long time. I mean, the guy's a monster. He's 6'8", 6'9". He is built like, like a huge wall, basically,
yep,
and he can legitimately lift trucks or ambulances because he's been a strongman before. He's done a lot of strongman competitions, so
yeah,
he legitimately can do these things. But then on top of it, he could move, like
mm-hmm,
really move. He is. I don't know. He's the size. Like almost the size of the Big Show, but can move like the Undertaker. This is a
yeah,
guy you cannot come by all the time, and it's just I don't know. His ability to learn at the quick rate that he's been given. It's almost as if he's taking the spot that Roman was given.
pretty much. I mean, I completely agree with you there. He's taken over that spot and everything, and now I won't get into the other allegations against Roman, but
What
but
allegations? He's totally clean. Anyway, go ahead.
but yeah, let's I feel like this podcast so far has been just like one big like jump around from one thing to another.
Well, I kind of
Um,
I kind of threw us off by saying, "Oh, I want Andrew Alamos to be on SmackDown on Raw because Raw's,
oh, gotcha.
kind of
Yeah.
thing." So that's kind of where we went with that. But let's go back to NXT Takeover before we head to the Royal Rumble. Is there anything
Yeah.
else that you want to talk about? NXT Takeover Philadelphia? Yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia. I think. I mean, we've talked about Adam Cole and Aleister Black.
Hmm.
We've talked about that. The tag team championships. Let's talk about, for one, just NXT. I know they're not gonna be on Takeover, but we've been talking about them for the past 24 hours. Are the Street Profits?
Oh my gosh, I love the Street Profits, man.
I mean, what? Where did they come from?
I have no idea.
I mean, they're so entertaining, and and it's the thing is like both of them are entertaining. You
Hmm.
know, Montez Ford to me is a little bit more entertaining, but they both are just fantastic and they work so well together and they feed off of each other and they're just come to the ring with their little black solo cups and it's just so ridiculous but it's so fun
Hmm.
and then he just they're just I don't know. It's fun to see a new tag team debut and like almost automatically people love them or gravitate to them and their personalities and their charisma, and not only just their charisma, but they were really good in the ring as well.
Yes,
So it's
absolutely. I mean, um, they actually started Street Profits exactly a year ago, January of last year. They didn't make it into TV until like the summer, and
yeah,
I don't know. I don't. It's just something about their chemistry because Angelo Dawkins, who's the other member of Street Profits, I don't know if you
yeah,
know, but he's been in NXT for like 5 years. That's a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
That's a
he's been in
long.
there. Yeah, I remember seeing him. And wasn't he a part of another tag team as well, like a long time ago? I thought it was him and somebody else,
I think it was Sawyer
but I
Fulton.
was it Sawyer Fulton? I just remember seeing him on NXT TV quite a few times before the Street Profits came along.
Yeah. Um, he's been in it a long time. Like they couldn't find anything for him to do. You
Yeah.
know, like he had matches with Sami Zayn. He had a tag team. He like lost to everybody, like Enzo and Cass, the Hype Bros, whatever. And
Hmm.
it's amazing because this is like one of those things where, like, I don't know how many times he was on the chopping block. Like they thought, well, we're not really doing anything with him, or anything. But now
Right.
he's actually catching on. But what's sad for me is that Montez Ford is still more exciting to watch than Angelo. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if it's that frog splash or his natural charisma, but for Angelo, gosh, I hope he rides these coattails for a very long time because it's such a good tag team. They're so entertaining, and oh man, I don't
It
know.
is, and yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch, and I know that they had a number one contenders match uh, on NXT just this week, and I know they lost their very first match finally to the Authors of Pain, which which I'm fine with,
Yeah, no shame in that.
because I mean, let's say I mean Street Profits are still very fairly new. They're fairly new tag team, and for them to be in the title, a title match that this quickly. I understand. I understand why they didn't. As much fun as it would have been to see them win, I understand why the Authors of Pain went over and everything. But they are definitely a tag team to keep your eye on
Hmm.
because they are going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I hope that they ride this ride this wave for a long time with them. And plus, even their entrance music is a lot of fun because it's so stupid. It's so ridiculous.
What was it? Is it called Bring the Swag or something like that? Yeah, Bring the
Something
Swag.
like that.
Yeah,
Bring the swag like nobody cares or something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
and
But
and
it's so
Montez's
much fun.
dancing is so ridiculous and just so much fun to watch.
Yep. Hilarious. A lot of fun.
Are
But
you are you ready to feel old right now though? Because
uh do I?
I'm looking at their bios. They are 10 years younger than us.
Are they really?
They were born in 1990.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I know, right? I feel so old.
Jeez. That sucks.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I don't think I really have anything other else on Takeover.
Okay.
I mean, let's move right into the Royal Rumble, because I'm sure there's a lot of things that we could say about the Royal Rumble, but we'll try to keep it not so long. So
Okay. Well, Royal Rumble obviously is taking place on the 28th of January
yep,
from the Wells Fargo Center, same place that NXT Takeover is going to be at. Um, the something about Royal Rumble, I think it's just the nature of the match itself. there are more rumors about the Royal Rumble than there are for any other card
Oh
in
yeah,
in the
always.
year because they specifically do not announce all the participants. I've seen them go maybe as high as 28 and leave two surprises, but it is the 19th of January. They have 9 days to uh, Royal Rumble, and all they've announced for the men's Royal Rumble are Elias, Randy Orton, Shinsuke, Cena, Balor, Corbin, Woken Matt Hardy, sorry, Bray Wyatt, Rusev, Aiden English, Paulo Cruz, and Titus Worldwide. Sorry, Titus O'Neil. I say Titus Worldwide all the time instead of Titus O'Neil. I don't know why, but that's it. That's
I know.
one, two, three, 12. That's 12. Not even half the board for of the 30 men. So that gives them a week to just basically
Yep,
announce another 18 if they want to. But
pretty much.
like Samoa Joe was originally on on the Royal Rumble, but he got injured. He had a foot injury
Yeah,
or something like
so
that.
yes, foot injury. So he's actually going to be out for the Royal Rumble. They've already said that the injury is a little bit worse than what they thought it was originally. So
Dang it! He
he
just got back too. He
I
just
know.
got back.
I know.
Oh,
So they had to pull him from the Royal Rumble. So, but hopefully, um, I don't think it's a serious injury, but it's
mhm.
just a little bit more than what they thought it was initially. So hopefully he'll be back very soon.
Yeah. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for people to come in. More than likely, there might be a single spot for NXT or to come in. I think they've done
Mm-hmm.
that for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
Um,
they've had a couple NXT guys, and what last year was Ty Dillinger, I think
that's right,
was
because he came out number
yeah,
10. That's right.
he came out number 10 last year.
And
But I
then
think he
Sami
was the only
Zayn was
Sami
last
Zayn that was he was the year before that,
the year
right?
before that. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So they do
Um,
give room, and they have
hmm
room, but there's a lot of rumors going on around right now.
Yeah.
Just for the men's, because if you don't know, there's also women's. But we'll stick to the men's right now. There are rumors about Rey Mysterio coming back
Yeah.
and coming into the Royal Rumble. Um, but the most prevailing rumor is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. That is the biggest rumor so far,
There are
and
there
I
are
don't.
odds on there's odds out that Daniel Bryan's going to be in the Royal Rumble this year, and it's kind of crazy to think about.
It was very crazy to think about, because you don't. There's always there's always talk about Daniel Bryan coming back. Always. There's always rumors. Oh, he was cleared. Oh, wait, no, he wasn't cleared. Oh, but he's cleared again. But he's cleared by these doctors, not WWE doctors, and blah blah
Mhm.
blah. And then it's just a revolving door of rumors surrounding him constantly. And the only thing that really sounds more legit about this is because the Vegas betting odds for Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble is 10-1,
That's crazy.
and and that is crazy, because usually if something like that happens, usually it's pretty legit most of the time.
Hmm.
But you haven't heard anything from anywhere else about it. Um, but there are odds that's saying that he could win, that he may can't come out at like number 30 and win this thing, or it could. And the thing is, if that does happen, if he does enter the Royal Rumble, if he is actually in the match, you kind of wonder if he wins, how is it going to be? Is he actually going to come out as a wrestler and win it as a wrestler, or is it going to be something like, oh, Shane entered the Royal Rumble, so oh wait, so Daniel Bryan's just going to go ahead and enter it, but he doesn't come out in wrestling gear, and somehow he, you know, by a fluke he wins it. That's and and I hope that they go with the former. If he does enter, I want him to enter as a wrestler. Hey, I'm back. I don't want it to be some sort of just story enhancement, for his little small feud with Shane. That's because I just think that would be too much of a tease, I guess, for the rest of us. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
I I don't want him to come back to the Rumble, honestly. If he's going to come back, I want I want him to be in a singles match. I don't want him to have to worry about 29 other guys having to dance around him or make him look good or try to protect him so that way he can convince the office that he's well, you know? I
Right.
prefer him in a one-on-one match so he can show all of his skills, probably not do the flying headbutt, for God's sakes. Um, uh, so that way his fate is in the hands of someone that he trusts. And to be in the Royal Rumble, where a lot of things can go wrong, and we've seen it, um,
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's too much of a gamble, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's almost like how there are odds that Kurt Angle could be in the Royal Rumble. I'm thinking, no, no. I don't want Daniel Bryan or Kurt Angle to get involved in the Royal Rumble because, first of all, they're on air characters as authority
Yeah.
figures. Secondly, Kurt Angle's story really kind of like relies on Triple H being in the Rumble because if he's going to get in, I prefer him just to run in and throw him out. And the similar situation would be for Shane McMahon. If Shane McMahon enters himself in the Royal Rumble, I think it'd be great to have Daniel Bryan come in and just eliminate him that way too. So that way they both have matches at WrestleMania. And I don't know, it's just I hate for Daniel to take a risk like going into the Royal Rumble as his first match back, getting injured, and proving the doctor's right. The WWE doctor's right. I
Let
I
me let me play devil's advocate real
okay.
quick for you. What if he came out at like number 30 and there was only like 3 or 4 guys left in the ring?
Oh, I guess that's fine. At the same time, there are other people I prefer that have worked really hard this year to win the Royal Rumble as opposed to Daniel Bryan coming back in his first match.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Bryan, what does he do? Because does he win the Royal Rumble and decide to face AJ Styles at WrestleMania if he still has the belt? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Because
Yeah.
there are other things that AJ could be doing to serve a Daniel Bryan match later on this year or next year at WrestleMania. You know, like I don't know. I guess I'm still holding on to Shinsuke Nakamura winning the Royal Rumble and facing AJ Styles. You know, or maybe I'm holding on to Roman Reigns making a surprise appearance and then winning the Royal Rumble and facing Brock Lesnar again. You know, because that's what we all want.
Really, really,
That's what we all
you
want.
really, you had to take it there.
Well, I mean, I think other people have done a lot of work this year, and for someone, and no, I'm not trying to discredit Daniel Bryan and his injury. It's just that other people have put in work this year to
Yeah, I mean,
build towards a big payoff at WrestleMania.
yeah, I mean, I understand. Like you and I have talked before. I mean, Shinsuke, I would love to see, win the Rumble because I mean, come on, Shinsuke versus AJ Styles would be fantastic at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of matches. Anybody versus AJ Styles for the most part. That's just how good AJ Styles is. But I mean, we've talked about Shinsuke winning. That'd be great. And I'm still holding out hope that Balor will win. But the only problem with Balor winning is that he's on Raw. He's not on SmackDown. So, so we wouldn't get an AJ Styles versus Balor match, which I would absolutely love to see. I know that, like I said, we've seen that before, but that was with AJ having no sleep and there were no planning involved.
Yeah,
That was just kind of like, hey, we need to throw a match together, and that was it.
yeah.
And
Let's
it was,
fly
and it was,
AJ from a different country in a different
yeah,
continent.
yeah, and it was a fantastic
It
match
was a
with
fantastic
no
match.
planning. And so to see those two on the biggest stage have a match at WrestleMania, with planning and everything would be fantastic. The only problem is, they're on different shows,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't happen. So that is like the one of the biggest reasons why I'd want Balor to win, so we could get AJ Styles and a Balor match. But Shinsuke would be my next pick because I know that those two would have an amazing match at WrestleMania as well. So you're right, though. I mean, the guys that have been around to put in the work deserve that spot. And like we've talked before, Rue, that Royal Rumble has been missing that kind of like that surprise factor of like anybody could win this
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's been you pretty much past few years you knew who was going to win. You know, you knew that a couple years ago Roman was going to win. Last year you knew that Randy Orton was going to win.
I didn't know that. I was kind of dreading it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: like there were talks that he was going to win it already, and you just like you hear those rumors, and you're like, oh, please, dear God, please do not be true. Um, but then in the back of your mind, when it's down to like the last three guys in the ring, and he's one of them, you're like, ah, crap. you know,
Yeah.
it's and nothing against Randy, nothing
No.
against Randy at all, because Orton, I'm a big fan of Orton. I think he's great. It's just, you want to see somebody else win for a change. You want to see somebody that you wouldn't expect. You want to see the company like go a different route for once and completely throw a 180 on us and completely surprise us. And that hasn't happened in a while. And this is the only year this is the first year in a long time where I'm literally sitting here thinking anybody could win this, like, because there's no rumors surrounding, besides, the Daniel Bryan rumor, there really isn't any other rumor about any other superstars winning this thing legitimately. And, that's why I'm really excited for this year's Rumble, because I really don't know who's going to win. And that's awesome. I love that.
I mean, there's great potential overall, for who could win and everything. But yes, there isn't. I mean, so once again, we're still 9 days away. A lot of things can happen.
Yep.
But there are some great possibilities for this year's WrestleMania. But the most prevailing thing that I could think of is Roman Reigns winning, so that way he set up a match against Brock Lesnar. Now, a lot of people won't be happy about that, but I will say this: Roman's put in a lot of good work this year.
He has.
He beat The Undertaker. He lost cleanly to Braun Strowman and put him over. He had some good matches with Rusev, and then he had a match with John Cena and beat him cleanly. He's put in some good work this year, and obviously it is leading up to a showdown with Brock Lesnar. What better way to make a full claim of the last 12 months, saying, I won the Royal Rumble, it is now time, I am undisputedly now the guy to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I'm better than I was last time. I'm stronger than I was last time. There is a compelling story, it's just not popular. And that's the problem.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, storyline wise, it's good. It's good. It's a solid route to go. Like you said, though, it's not going to be a popular one. And if they do go that route, they need to be prepared for lots of backlash.
Well, I mean, as long as they bring in The Rock to help them celebrate, then, obviously fans are going to love it. Because that worked last time.
Yeah, it worked so well last time.
It was gangbusters.
Oh, my Lord. It's the first time in a long time I've even seen The Rock booed. I mean,
and confused. He was confused.
He's confused. He's sitting there going, man. It's like, this isn't working.
All right.
But,
let's move on to the huge announcement. So we've had a women's Hell in the Cell. We've had a women's Money in the Bank. We've had a women's table match. And now here we are, historically, at a women's Royal Rumble. How crazy is this?
That is something that has been, I don't want to say long overdue, but it's been something that I've been hoping for a while. And the only problem was before is like they didn't have the roster for it. They never did.
Well, they don't have the roster for it now. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, for the most part, I mean they do. I mean, if you combine, both Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and then they are going to add, some of the ladies that from like, past women's wrestlers and everything like that, um, then yeah, I mean they've got the roster for it,
Mm.
and so it's something that I'm excited for. I mean, let's think about it this way. Before like NXT really was a thing, no, they didn't have the roster for it. Um, but now that you have this expanded brand, um, then yeah, they really do. I mean, they're really honestly going to have to empty out their entire roster for it, um, but it's going to be exciting to see. And I'm just sitting here thinking, good lord, the Royal Rumble is going to be 6 hours long, like the event. Like I mean, it's going to be a long event, but something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Well, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the list right now, and
Yeah,
they have 18 out of 30. And I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like they shouldn't give too many spots to NXT's, women's stars right now. They really, really shouldn't. They should keep it kind of like how the men's,
yeah,
are right now. Like maybe one spot for like Ember Moon or something like that.
right.
But I don't want. I don't know. I would like for this to be kind of like how the men conduct it for themselves. Make it something that they aspire to get to eventually, you know, and
Yeah,
maybe
I get
maybe
that.
Kairi Sane because uh, without Paige's injury they had 19, and unfortunately Paige is now injured. She's not retired, but she's
Not
injured.
retired.
Um,
Yeah, hey
but
man, keep going on your tangent real quick. I gotta run to the restroom.
okay, all right, do your thing.
So just keep talking. Just keep talking.
But how I feel is just like with 18 out of 30, there are a lot of women that pave the way for these women now to have a Royal Rumble. It's the perfect opportunity to bring in past stars like Michelle McCool, uh, Trish Stratus, Lita. Some of these stars who paved their way to get in. Like Kelly would be a nice little entrance. I mean, obviously Maria can't do it because she's pregnant. Um, but yeah, I don't really I don't really really don't want too many spots to go to NXT ladies, especially since the NXT women's roster is so young and most of them are so inexperienced. I would I don't know. I just think it would not serve the better purpose for the long run for the especially for the women's rumble, considering it's the first ever. They need to have everyone they have to really put on the best Royal Rumble possible given their current situation. Um, they have Naomi, Asuka, Ruby Riott, Natalia, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Tamina, Lana, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mickey James, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Alicia Fox, and Dana Brooke. I think that's great
Yeah.
to start off with, but if they throw in Lita or Trish or Michelle McCool, Kelly, I think they would be great entrants. I think a one-off appearance by Santina Morella would be hilarious to be thrown out. To just be thrown out, just show up, and everyone's like, "What the f," and everything, and then they throw him out. That would be
That'd be funny.
hilarious.
I would even love to see Santino in the men's Royal Rumble too. I mean, that'd be hilarious if he like was in both and got
With
thrown
both,
out like right with both. Yeah,
like the three faces of Foley.
exactly.
But there's actually someone else I want to see, and not because I'm a huge fan. I've always been a huge fan of hers, but she's also being involved in the mixed tag challenge that they're doing right now on Facebook as
Jillian
commentary.
Hall,
No, she was
Beth Phoenix.
also Beth Phoenix. She was also in the Mae Young Classic doing commentary. I'm thinking Beth, when she was inducted in the Hall of Fame, looked like she could step in the ring that night.
Oh yeah, she was
And
in fantastic shape.
she's always been great, and just like and listening to her on Edge and Christian's podcast, she's freaking hilarious. She's got a great personality, and
Well, of course. I mean, she probably hangs out with Edge and Christian all the time.
I
I
know,
mean,
gosh, you
I mean,
wouldn't be able to survive if you didn't have a good personality.
I know,
Um,
right?
oh, she pranked Edge on the air too. It was hilarious. But she's always been one of my favorites. You knew that because
Oh yeah.
like I don't know something about her being unique and being different and everything, and just her getting inducted in the Hall of Fame last year totally confirmed everything that I loved about her. And
Yeah.
then the work that she did with Santino was just amazing.
Oh yeah, that was that was
Glamorella.
fantastic. Glamarella. And
So,
anything Santino did was hilarious, but I mean that particularly that duo was fantastic.
which is like feeds into why I think it would be great to have Santina Morella come in and then have Beth throw him out, would just be even better.
That would be funny.
And now a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's the first women's rumble. You're gonna have Santina Morella do the Santina." I'm thinking it's a throwback to what everyone hated about WrestleMania 25. You know, I think
Yep.
that would just make it better for me. Because come on, you have a Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, and you have Santino as a woman win it. What a slap in the face!
Be ridiculous.
So to have him come back and then just get thrown out, I think that would be perfect. But that's just me.
Gotcha. Speaking of winner, um, who do you think? Who do you think should
I
win the first ever women's Royal Rumble?
um, who I think should win, honestly, probably Asuka.
I'm right there with you.
Who
That would be
probably will win? Ronda Rousey.
that would be awful. That would be terrible. And honestly, it would be because you have this first ever women's Royal Rumble,
Uh-huh.
in honor of these women that are there all the time, in honor of women's wrestling and really pushing it to the forefront. And then you have somebody that's never wrestled a WWE match in her entire life win something that is going to be so prestigious to those women that are there day in and day out, making women's wrestling relevant. And to have somebody come in and completely, I'm not saying she has no business being in the Rumble because she's a draw. People will watch because, Ronda Rousey is a draw. And I get that. And I get that it's to get more eyes on the product. It's to get more, eyes on this women's Royal Rumble. But the eyes are already going to be there because it's the first ever.
Yeah.
So it's already going to be there. And to have her win would be a mistake. And I think
Yeah.
it would make the women's Royal Rumble, I don't want to say less memorable, but it would make it, I don't know, not feel as important as it should be. Um, and to have somebody, and honestly, if they've been rolling with, and what do you do about Asuka's winning streak? Do you count? It's like the loss would be an asterisk if she lost, but it would still,
Not in a
because
singles match.
but I know it's not a single. I know it's not a singles match, and I understand that. But at the same time, it's still, I don't know. It's still kind of a loss. It's and I understand that because it's not a singles match. It's not an actual. She was never pinned or submitted or anything like that. But it's still one of those things that I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to see, her get thrown over a top rope, and I really want to see Asuka win. That's my pick, and that's who I want to see win. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just protecting her a little bit more.
Well, okay. The thing about Asuka not winning kind of goes with how they've tried to build her on Raw.
Yeah.
Her momentum on NXT has not carried over at all to Raw, and it's just how she's written, or how they've built her, or who they've given to her to beat up, basically.
Yeah.
So I can see Vince using that as fuel to be like, well, I was going to put Asuka in it, but we just give her a title match at WrestleMania and not have her win the Royal Rumble, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know, to pay Ronda Rousey to come in the first place, that is a huge investment. What easy way to get a return on that investment, than to have Ronda win and then face Charlotte at WrestleMania, which of course is the dream match because they've been kind of like feuding. ever since the
I
ever since the Mae Young Classic, I think.
I get that. I get that. I get that. I get that it's a draw. I
Hmm.
get that you're going to be paying Ronda Rousey a lot of money to, to come in and be in the Royal Rumble and everything. But she's not a wrestler.
No, she's not.
She's not a wrestler.
No, I
You're
mean
not going to get
she's been
you're not going to get a good
training.
match. She's been training, but she's never had a match before. And being a UFC fighter is completely different than being a WWE wrestler.
Hey, don't tell Brock
Completely
Lesnar
different.
that.
Listen here. Brock was a wrestler before he was a UFC fighter. He understood the business before he went to
Yeah.
UFC. So he knew it. He knows, and Brock knows the business. Ronda Rousey doesn't know the business. She. I just don't think that it would be smart to have her come in and be like, oh, let's get her a title match at WrestleMania against Charlotte. And what is she gonna do? Is she gonna wrestle a couple matches before that? I mean, what? You can't have her first match be at WrestleMania and have it be a dud because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Once
Yeah.
again, you're kind of basing it on basically no evidence to suggest that she doesn't or she does.
The only
Um,
reason why I can say that she doesn't know what she's doing is because she hasn't given us any evidence that she does. And obviously, yes, there's the catch-22 of there's no evidence to prove that she doesn't know what she's doing either. Or that she does know what she's doing.
mhm.
But the reason why we can only base this off of she's never had a match before. She's never had one. And I'm not saying, and I like Ronda Rousey. Again, I'm not trying to crap all over Ronda Rousey because
I
I
know.
like her. I'm just from a business aspect of it. Just because somebody's a big draw and just because somebody is a recognized and well-known face doesn't mean that's going to translate well. Doesn't mean it's going to, make it so that they're not going to perform well. That doesn't mean they're going to perform well. And I don't know. It's just I just think that it would be a big mistake to have her win the Rumble.
Okay, bigger travesty: Ronda Rousey winning the Rumble, or James Ellsworth ripping down the briefcase of the Money in the Bank match.
Good Lord, Rue.
Hey, the way you're painting the picture, and I'm thinking, which one's worse?
I don't know which one's worse because they're both terrible. I mean, they're both terrible because for one, I thought that the ending to that first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I thought that it crapped all over the match itself. I thought that it was for it to be the first ever. I felt like the ending should have been a woman going up there and ripping down that briefcase because it's the first ever match. And the fact that none of those women got to do that, I thought was a travesty. And
Well,
having Ronda Rousey win a Royal Rumble, a first ever Royal Rumble, when she is not an active wrestler and has not contributed to this business for years or ever, would be a travesty. That is my take on it. And that is all I'm going to say anymore.
it gets people
Rue.
talking.
I
That's
know
the
it gets
thing.
people.
Like
I know it
we're
gets people
we're
talking.
still talking about James Ellsworth, but at the same time, let's fast forward to 2 weeks after that. It led to a second Money in the Bank match that was even better than the first one.
I understand that, but you can't have a second Royal Rumble.
It's true. That's very
You
true.
can't have a second Royal Rumble. And yes, they did. They did kind of rectify that, a little bit and have a second Money in the Bank ladder match for the women.
Keep the result the
It
same.
the result was the same, but you can't do that with the Rumble. and a Money in the Bank ladder match, or is it isn't the Royal Rumble.
Mm-mm.
The Royal Rumble is something that I feel is more prestigious than a first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And that's just that's how I feel about it. I mean, it's the Royal Rumble has been around since how long? Wait, when was the first Royal Rumble? It was, help me out here.
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Because I don't know, it's been around for a long time.
1988.
1988 was the very first Royal Rumble. So you're talking you're talking many years. You're talking a few decades of Royal Rumbles, and the event itself is prestigious.
It's
And
the
to
20th.
have, yeah,
My God,
and to
it's the 20th.
yeah, yeah, 2 decades, 20 years of Royal Rumbles, and then you've got the very first ever women's Royal Rumble match, and I, like I said, I just feel having a non-wrestler win the very first ever women's Rumble match. I know you're laughing at me, but it'd be. I just feel like it would. It just wouldn't mean as much, and it should mean something. And that, I mean, I don't know. I'm very passionate about this. I'm sorry, but it's
I know. I know.
I just don't. Go
It's
ahead.
important to mark the first. You know.
Yes.
It's 100% important because not only is this the first, but if this goes horribly, it could be the only one. You know, you want to make the mark at least the first time, and then the following could be bad. You know, like
Yeah. And
they have to hit the right note. They have to have the right winner. Like I'd prefer Alicia Fox over Ronda Rousey at this point.
Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke, yes.
But
Yeah, 'cause-
and I agree. I agree. If this was like the second or the third women's Royal Rumble, fine, have Ronda Rousey win it. Fine.
Yeah, pull a
You
Roman
know,
Reigns. Yeah,
You know what?
put a Roman Reigns this Rumble. Oh, that's a bad term. I
Have her
shouldn't say
come in
that.
as Romania Reigns or something. But yeah, but because it's the first, it's having one of the actual women, wrestlers win this thing, it's the right way to do it. Now we've been proven time and time again that the WWE doesn't always do what the right thing should be, but
And they've told us that we don't know what the right thing is many
Yep.
times. As
Yeah.
long as no one from Absolution or the Riot Squad win, I'll be okay. Really,
yeah.
because
Yeah, and because they're two factions that have. I mean, they're just starting, and
Yeah.
they don't need to be winning this yet. And I
I'll
don't
take
think they will.
I'll take a Lana victory over Ronda Rousey at this point.
Oh Lord, that. Yeah. Okay. I've got nothing. I've got nothing for that.
Oh, what would be great is if Carmella won the Royal Rumble.
Lord,
then
she
she's
can't
got-
win.
and
She
she's got
can't
the
win
Money in the
first
Bank.
ever. No,
You
she
know?
can't win the. She can't win the first ever Money in the Bank. Actually, the first two Money in the Banks, and then win the first ever Royal Rumble. That can't happen.
Ooh, a little bit of gossip about Carmella. It is rumored that she and Big Cass broke up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Apparently, it's gonna be on Total Divas or something.
Yeah, and she actually said something on Instagram, and something about like you'll always be in my heart. And I'm like, wait, what the hell? Did you guys break up? Kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently they did. So
That's a shame because they actually were cute together.
yeah, I don't really concern myself with
Yeah, but
celebrity relationships.
it's just like one of those things. It's just like like it was a natural thing because they were both in NXT and everything.
Yeah.
but then they got put on different shows when they're both brought up to the main roster. So of course that was going to be like, nah, that's going to suck because that they might break
Oh
up,
yeah.
and everything. And they were totally into each other because she was totally into him as like being his valet, and he was totally into her because of her character. Like how many times did he show up on NXT TV and sing like her entrance music, kind of a thing. And
That's
it was just
true.
like
Yeah.
they were kind of like the pair, kind of like how the Miz and Maurice are. And it was like it was kind of cute, kind of a thing. And then to hear
Right.
that they broke up, it's like dang, wrestling does break up
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, it does. Something like that.
But yeah, I think it'd be great to have her win the Royal Rumble, and so then go to WrestleMania, wrestle Charlotte, and then as soon as she loses, she cashes in the Money in the Bank contract, and then she wins. How's that for strategy?
That'd be ridiculous.
Why?
Oh,
Why
that'd
would that
be
be ridiculous?
because it's just asinine. It's like, oh, I just got pinned. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna cash this in right now. Let's restart this match. It's like I've got a backup plan.
Yes. See, no one's done that yet. You know? I mean, you have Dean Ambrose winning the Money in the Bank contract, and then like an hour later cashes it on Seth Rollins and becomes the champion. You know?
Yeah.
Or you have Edge beat Kennedy for the Money in the Bank contract because he won it, and then like later that night cashes it in and pins the Undertaker for the championship. No one's
Yeah.
actually wrestled a match with the champion and then cashed it in after losing. No one's done that yet. That's something that's
Well,
never
that's
been
true.
done.
No, it's never been done. Has anybody ever actually cashed it in and wrestled an actual match by cashing it in?
Yes, John Cena. No, no,
Did he?
no. Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam challenged John Cena at the first ECW pay-per-view.
Oh, that's right, and that's when Rob Van Dam won
Yes.
the championship. That's right.
So
I couldn't remember because most times I was like sitting here thinking, I was like, man, it's like usually all the cash-ins happen when the champ is down and hurt
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
But
Very,
I
it's
couldn't
very
think of.
heelish of them.
Yeah, very true. But man, I don't know
Trying
if
to think
there's
of
anything
another
else that. What?
I'm trying to think of another case that happened. I think that might be the only case that ever happened.
I think
Um,
it was because I don't remember anything else.
but yeah, I mean, we've hit the major points of Royal Rumble. Obviously, there are other big matches happening. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match for the championship. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
it'll be
Brock,
interesting.
yeah, Brock Lesnar versus Braun versus Kane. Very excited for that because I want Kane to win. You have
You
the
want Kane to
Bar.
win?
I was wondering if you were going to say anything. You have the
Well, I was
Bar
just
versus the New Shield. You know,
yeah. What? I'm not excited about that whatsoever.
come on.
Just
I call them the
no
New
in.
Shield because anything new in front of a name has always been a death knell for the team, kind of a thing. Like the New Rockers or the New Midnight Express. Anytime
Yeah.
the new has been put in there, it's always been terrible. So, New Shield versus the Bar.
Yeah, let's not try to reunite the Shield anymore because apparently the gods don't want that to happen.
They don't want them to be healthy.
I know, right? Good lord.
It's weird that Seth is the one that survived all this from what was that, the measles or the mumps or something like that, to now
Yeah,
a
like
shoulder injury.
mumps, then the shoulder injury, and it's like it's gotten so bad you got to put Jason Jordan in there.
What's next? Seth Rollins comes out with syphilis or something in the ring.
Gross. You always got to take it to the next level.
Well, come on. I mean, seriously. At this point, it's just like, what else is going to happen to the Shield to prevent them from staying together?
That's true. I don't know. Anything could happen.
And then the match I'm looking forward to, like almost the most, is the Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. I mean, Shelton Benjamin, especially Chad Gable, man, that kid can wrestle.
Yeah.
And so
And they're obviously going to win. They're obviously going to win the championships at this point.
yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that happen. So it's gonna be
Well,
a great match.
well, if anything, Jimmy has made it sure that they're going to lose the titles that night.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know, if you drive while intoxicated and the WWE finds out about it that you got arrested, they're going to punish you for it. You know,
That is
just
very true,
just saying.
and it just sucks that was it Jimmy or was it Jay?
I don't. It's one of the guys who looks Samoan, and um, I can't remember because I saw the real name put on there on the report because his name is Joseph Fatu, which is hilarious
Yeah,
because that's another Joe who's Samoan.
yeah.
Because you got Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns is Joe, who's also a Samoan, and you got Joseph Fatu, who's also Samoan. Like, I don't know what it is.
I wonder if they welcomed him to the USO penitentiary.
Oh, well, you know, his whatever his prospects are, they're on lock. So
It's so terrible.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and that's why Street Profits are 10 years younger than us. All right,
yep.
so we've gone on long, but a
Yeah.
lot has happened. A lot is going to happen.
Yes.
You know, so I think it's kind of justified that we have an hour and a half for this.
Yeah,
What
it
do you
was.
think?
Yeah, we needed to have a longer podcast today, just because of all the time that we've missed, and we had to educate people on what we've been up to and everything. So it makes sense that we ran a little long today.
Yeah, I would love for us to do like an interview, you know, of like someone who's a wrestler, like uh, um, like Vince McMahon's hairdresser or something like that. Just get someone who's been in the business, you know, I could share their stories.
Right. Good lord.
What?
Just so terrible.
Well, it's like someone who's in the know because we're just coming at this as fans and people who's watched the product for about 20 years. You know, we, we honestly don't know everything. You know, so it'd be really nice to get like someone who has a vague connection to these people. You know,
Yeah, that's true. You never know. Maybe we will have that happen. So
or
someday.
like a janitor from Titan Towers. You know, like what did you see? Oh, it was crazy. I saw Sensational Sherry, you know, just beat the crap out of whatever guy or something like that. It's just come up with some weird story.
It's awful. We have awful ideas.
Yes, we do.
It's just terrible. But yeah, so yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, this is great, man. So,
We,
thank you so much for listening to us because we're just a couple of idiots talking.
yep,
Um,
couple idiots.
but
One of these times we'll actually stream one of these podcasts on Twitch or something. That'd be a lot of fun.
you know, maybe we should try getting on iTunes. I don't even know how that works. You know,
I
because
don't either. We'll figure it out.
yeah, yeah,
We'll do some research.
yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
So,
All right.
but
Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to NXT Takeover Philadelphia. It's gonna be a crazy crowd because it's Philly, and once again, also the Royal Rumbles are gonna be that later that
hmm
night. Um, if we can come together and find the time, we'll definitely give you our thoughts about it and everything. We're not making
definitely.
any promises anymore. We're just like
No.
we're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll try to make it work whenever we possibly can. So
Cool.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you follow us on the Twitters and Twitch as well. It's Appenroid no matter where you go. So
Mhm.
we're also on the Instagram now. So make sure you follow us on all those other avenues. If you like video games and you like to watch Twitch streams and everything, we're on there
Mhm.
every once in a while. So
Do you
make sure to
want to
follow us on all those other avenues. So
do you want to throw in a plug for Plexus, by the way?
um, sure. I didn't really plan on it, but
Well, it's your thing, so you know.
but yeah, no. If you guys are anybody out there looking to get a little bit more healthy and uh, and have some ailments and everything like that as well, I take this product called Plexus. There's a lot of different kind of things that you can take. They're all natural products. They've actually helped me out quite a bit. Um, I've had a Rocky Mountain spotted fever and had a lot of ailments and things because of that alone. And these products have definitely helped me out a lot. So if you're low energy, you've been sick a lot or anything like that, there's you can definitely leave a comment in the below, and if you have any questions about it, just let me know, and we'll and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't take the product at all, but from my personal experience listening to Archie over the past couple of years and everything, the progression that he's taken doing Plexus has been amazing, and especially for a guy who's 60 years old, he's spry
Shut
and
up, good lord.
let me finish my plug. So, so if you're interested in feeling young again, or at least just feeling more energy, definitely get in touch with Archie. Ask him some questions about it. He'll have all the information for you. It's a great product, and very happy to hear that a guy is his age at 70 years old is just feeling so good. So
I hate you so much. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
thank you very much. Bye.